The Redefined podcast is part of the Winmate Give podcast network.
You ever watch these like big, fancy marriage proposals? I was even watching The Office yesterday or the day before. I had a root canal. Oh my gosh. I was in so much pain. By the way, this is Erik Hatch with the Redefined podcast. And I was watching The Office because I was laying in bed, riling in pain from a root canal. And I hadn't had it yet. I had a cavity filled 10 days prior. And the next day I'm like, oh, God dang it. My mouth hurts more. Like my cavity didn't even hurt. And then I go in and the dentist is like, well, this one's kind of close to the nerve. So if there's a problem, let me know. And what do you know? I went Thursday to see the dentist, Friday after the dentist. And of course they're closed on a Friday. I'm like, yeah, my mouth really hurts. And so I went in on Monday and she's like, yep, you need a root canal. I'm like, son of a gun. I had one 3.5 years ago. And it's not awesome. But I had a super busy week last week. And so I'm like, I am just going to put it off. I'll go the following week, and scheduled it and was going to go the following week. And all of a sudden, when the way in which it seemed to go is Friday hit when the dentist is closed and my mouth is now like shooting in pain. Ibuprofen and Tylenol. I'm layering it every 4 hours. I'm all drugged up on over-the-counter ibuprofen and Tylenol. And I finally get in yesterday. But this weekend, I just laid around. I got in yesterday, took care of the root canal. All is fine. I slept like a log last night. Thank goodness, because I slept an hour the night before. So I'm laying around watching The Office, and I watch Andy propose to Angela. I forgot her name for a second. Okay, I watched Andy propose to Angela underneath the fireworks. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good move under the fireworks. And then like a few episodes later, I watched Jim propose to Pam. It's at this gas station between Scranton, and New York. It's this big romantic gesture. And I think of my romantic gesture when I got engaged. Like, oh yeah, Erik, you're gonna kill it. And so this is the picture. This is the scene that I had in my mind is under the fireworks, Andy Bernard style. Thank you. Yep. A lot of bonus points for that. Under the fireworks, not at Toby's going away party, however, but under the fireworks on my wife's birthday, surrounded by our friends and her favorite local band, a band called 32 Below is playing. They're a country band. And I'm like, I got this thing totally buttoned up. This is going to be the most incredible engagement. I'm going to live to tell the story. They are going to make movies of how romantic Erik is and what a great planner he is. And so a week before my wife's birthday, my wife, on the day that we got engaged, turned 22 years old. She was young. She was a youngin'. We started dating when she was 20. And on her 22nd birthday was when I proposed. She was in Hawaii with her family for a wedding. So she's all the way across the country and the Pacific Ocean. I live in Fargo, North Dakota. So it's a long, long ways away. And so the week leading up, I'm like, oh, cool. I can talk to her mom. Her parents are divorced, so I'm going to talk to both her parents, right? Seems like the right thing to do. I'm going to get permission from both her mom and her dad. So I go over to her mom's house and I ask Janie for Emily's hand in marriage. And she's like, yep, and was super supportive and lovely and all these things. One done. Emily is with her dad in Hawaii. And so I have to wait for them to get back. And they get back, I think it's the day before Emily's birthday. I think my wife was born on June 11th. So I think they get back on June 10th. And so I make the decision. I'm going to talk to Tom, her dad, the morning of Emily's birthday. And I go over to his house and I ask, and he says, yes. I'm like, yo, all right, 2 for 2, ready to go. Oh, by the way, earlier that week, I was playing basketball and completely wrecked my ankle. Massive sprain. So I'm on crutches. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm practicing, like, how do I get down on one knee on just one foot? because I'm on crutches, and how is this going to work? And I'm like, I think I can figure this out. Although I have a bad knee and I have a bad ankle and they're opposite, like I can make this work. I can use the crutches and lean on them and it's going to be perfect. And I'm like, this is going to be the best, the most romantic rose ceremony ever. That's what's about to happen. And I'm going to pick up Emily to go to this concert where all her friends are at to celebrate her birthday. And I'm like, this is going to be great. But like, I got to talk to her sister. Emily has one sister, Maggie. Maggie had just graduated high school the week before. No. Let me rewind it back. She was on her way to being a senior in high school. And so she's 17 years old, just finished her junior year. And I'm like, I'm going to ask Maggie. Maggie is in my youth group. I'm working at the church locally. I'm a youth minister, and Maggie is one of the kids in my youth group. And Emily is like super close with her sister. So I better ask her sister. Well, her sister is a couple of hours away at a volleyball tournament or a soccer tournament or basketball. I don't know. She was a stud athlete. And so it all blends together in my mind. But she's like a couple hours away and engaged in this tournament. And so I call her. She doesn't answer. I call her at like 11 in the morning and then at like 3. And then I'm going to pick up Emily at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And I still hadn't talked to her sister. Finally, her sister calls me back. I'm at Emily's at this point while she's getting ready at her apartment. And so I sneak out to the deck, to the patio. And I'm in real estate. You think I know the difference between a deck and a patio. I sneak out to her deck and I say, Maggie, boy, I really love your sister. And I intend on asking her for her hand in marriage. I just wanted, because I know you guys are so close, I wanted to get your permission. And it's dead silence. Like literally, I hear crickets outside, but I don't hear any response from Maggie on the phone. And I go, Maggie, do I have your permission to marry your sister? And I hear sobbing, and she goes, well, I can't stop you. Oh boy, off to a weird start. Emily hears this conversation inside the apartment, so she knows I'm proposing. Okay. So here I am on crutches, taking Emily to this outdoor concert, waiting for the fireworks to start, and I'm going to propose under the fireworks at this concert, surrounded by all her friends. Although the Maggie situation didn't go how I wanted, my ankle situation didn't go how I wanted, it's still going to happen. It's June 11th, and you'd expect a June 11th day in most places to be like an 85-degree day and hot and wonderful. And we get hit with a summer storm. And so all of a sudden now it's like 30 or 40 mile an hour winds. It's like 55 or 60 degrees outside. It's cold. And a storm is rolling in. They cancel the concert early, and we get a sense that the concert's going to get canceled. And so I don't get a chance to propose under the fireworks. And instead I take Emily for a walk. And so I go, hey, can we go for a walk? And I'm on crutches, y'all. Like, you don't go for walks when you're on crutches. You just try to stand and be not in serious pain. And if you've ever been on crutches and you're standing on one foot for like 2 or 3 or 4 hours, it sucks. You're just looking for a spot to sit. But instead, we're here at this concert and all of our friends are there. And now the sun is just setting, but the fireworks aren't even going off yet. And this storm is a brewing. And by the way, did I mention that this concert is at something called Rib Fest? Rib Fest is a parking lot party at the Fargo Dome. The Fargo Domes are a big event center. And this parking lot party is the most redneck, trashy, go and get drunk with your friends and eat barbecue ribs. I didn't contemplate that this was just like a step up from the county fair. Maybe it's a step down from the county fair. It didn't even cross my mind. I just thought, well, the concert's playing and it's going to be fireworks. I didn't even think of the backdrop. It wasn't romantic at all. And then the storm came a brewing. And so when we went for the walk, when we finally got to a place where she could hear me, I think we're standing between the deep fried Oreos and the porta potties. What a romantic backdrop this is. And I tell her, Emily, I love you. I've loved you since we started dating. And I am so happy when I'm with you. And I get down on a knee awkwardly. And I'm like, hey, and by the way, our friends are nowhere to be found because I realized this party's about to end and I wanted to propose. And so I get down on a knee. I say, will you marry me? She says yes. It's this beautiful moment. And then these people drunk off their asses exiting like the porta potties, like, hey, woo, woo, congrats, man. That was freaking awesome, man. Yeah. It was not what I pictured. We tell our friends, we hug, she cries, we take pictures. The fireworks, I don't even remember if they happen or not. But the concert ends, cancels early. And Emily says, hey, I want to go see my mom. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, what a cool moment. You want to go see your mom. It's probably 10 o'clock now, 10:30. And we drive a couple of miles away to Emily's mom's house where her sister is as well. And we show up. And for 3 or 4 hours, Emily, her mom, and her sister are locked in her mom's bedroom. And I hear crying and yelling. Oh my gosh. I sit and watch TV painfully for 3 or 4 hours until 2 or 3 in the morning until I come out and I get a hug from Emily's mom. I get ignored from Emily's sister. And that is the start of my engagement to the woman I'm still married to today. Maggie was really frustrated, thought her sister was too young, thought it was really weird that her youth director was marrying her sister. I see all of that. Emily was young as well. But when you know, right? So the setting wasn't ideal. The things that happened weren't ideal. But I never took my eyes off Emily. I was a cotton-headed niggy mummins for how I proposed. It was far from perfect. It was not the ideal movie scene. Some of you have these like beautiful engagement stories. Yeah, screw you. I have an awesome engagement story, but I wouldn't define it as beautiful. Like it wasn't something that people would make this romantic movie about. It's more of like a slapstick comedy. That's kind of been our marriage too. It has been like I had this hope that it would be this beautiful thing, but it's been this like bumpy, clunky road. And like, that's the freaking awesome part. By the way, Maggie and I have an unbelievable relationship now. I love her relentlessly. And I think she would say the same about me. We're friends. We're super cool family members. We're raising our kids together. It's just like, it's so fun to mature in that relationship. She also married an Erik. So good taste indeed. All this to be said, the things that don't go according to plan are what creates the stories. If everything went according to plan, we'd have no stories to tell. And my marriage has not gone according to plan. My engagement sure didn't go according to plan, but it's worth watching and it's worth living. And so maybe I got to stop putting so much pressure on myself and trying to have things be perfect. Instead, I just want them to progress. The end goal was marriage. The end goal was not a beautiful engagement. The end goal was to find my person and to create a beautiful life together. And that has happened. And so the things that have not gone according to plan are creating the stories that are worth sharing here. So I'm curious, do you have that beautiful engagement story? Do you have that beautiful story that always went how you pictured it? or did it go awry? Because if it went awry, my guess is it's a way cooler story to tell and it's more relatable. Oh man, you tell me something that went perfect. You brag about your accomplishments and the things that were awesome. Like I don't relate to that. You tell me how something went cuckoo and I'm there with you. So as we keep on telling stories here on the Redefine podcast, I'm going to keep showing you how I've messed up and how I blundered. And hopefully that can cause a little bit of back and forth. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to share this episode with the person that you're engaged to or married to. Reminisce, think back about the story of your engagement or your blunder that maybe was supposed to be perfect, but it was anything but. Maybe you'll get a laugh out of it. Maybe you'll have a cool story to tell, but I can't wait to hear your wild ride. Gang, my name's Erik Hatch. You've been listening to the Redefine podcast, and I will catch you guys next time on the Flippity Flip. God bless.